Welcome to Pro Practice, your guide to piano mastery. I'm Josh Wright, and today's episode is based on the fourth two-part invention by J.S. Bach, and I'm just using an urtext edition here, so not a whole lot of markings in here, aside from just what Bach wrote. There's not a lot of dynamic markings or even a lot of fingering markings. So today I want to help be your guide as we go through this, not only to give you all those fingering suggestions, but also to give you a guide dynamically, bringing out various voices in certain parts, how we can deal with articulation, so what notes we should play short or staccato, what notes we should play legato, and some variation on that if you have differing opinions on that. Yes, we will get to how to do this little section. That little trill gives a lot of students trouble. Same thing over here in the right hand. So how do we get that nice and smooth? So let's just start with two lines, and we're going to take this nice and slow. If you're playing this, you might be at the late beginner phase or the early intermediate phase. Or you might be an advanced player who wants to play a bunch of these in a set. But for that reason, I'm going to mostly be demonstrating today in slow tempi. Okay, so let's just take it to there and talk about the fingering. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but you start with a 2. That just sets you up in a really nice position to go 1, 5, 4, 3, and then I personally like to go 1, 2, 1 because that sets you up really nicely for those three notes. 1, 2, 5, 1, 3, 5. Okay, continuing on. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2. Let's just take it to there. We're going to go through the entire piece, don't worry, but I want to go over some basic concepts in these first two lines to really demonstrate some of the norms that we'll be exploring throughout the rest of the piece. Okay, left hand. Obviously this is starting on bar 3. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 5, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. Okay, now, if you have tiny hands, I still think you probably can, unless you're like a 5-year-old watching this and you really cannot reach 5, 2, I don't think that's going to give many of you issues, but if it does, what I would suggest is using a little bit of rotation. Rotate down. Even if you have big hands, this isn't a bad idea. So use that little bit of like doorknob turning rotation. If that really is uncomfortable, you could do something else, which I don't usually recommend, but like putting thumbs on black keys. We are going to do that in a couple of places in this piece. Some teachers think that I'm the devil if I say, hey, you can't ever put a thumb on a black key. And I'm like, yeah, go play Jadot by Ravel with no thumbs on black keys. I've only played black keys so far. Okay, with thumb. So there is a time and a place. It's not that I always advocate thumbs should be on blacks, because it's usually not a great idea because your thumb is a shorter finger and to go up here requires an extra movement. But if you have tiny hands and you hate the 5-2, an option you could use is something like 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 5, 1, 2, something like that. So then you're reaching 5, 1 there. It's just a little bit of a different variation. Again, not something I'd particularly recommend, but you can do it if the 5-2 is really bothering you. That's one thing I always want to portray in these pro practice videos, and really any videos that I record. There's no one right way of doing things. And if a teacher says there's only one way of doing something, usually that either shows closed-mindedness or stubbornness or a lack of flexibility. Everyone's hand is different. My hands are pretty big. I teach a lot of students with tiny hands, and sometimes stuff that works for me, like this revolutionary etude, for instance. I used to do 5-3-2 and I would just stretch. But over the years, because I taught so many students with smaller hands, I switched that fingering. 5-2-1, 3-1. So anything that you feel like, oh, that's going to fit my hand better, go ahead and do that. Okay, let's continue. 5-4-3-2-1-2-5-2-1-2-3-4. And then it's up to you. I would obviously do 3-2-1 on this first one. Then if you want to go to a more closed hand position, like 5-3-1, I think that feels good. 5-1-4-3-1-2. Again, you could do 3-2-1 there. 3-2-1. Just scoot your hand in as you go if you're going to use that thumb up here. Otherwise, you can keep it out just right on this barrier between the white and black keys. 3-1-2-5-1. And then let's see what we're going to go to on this next line. Okay, so I would go 5-1-4-3-2-1. So you're going to end with that 1 on the A. Okay? Let's talk about articulation. So a general rule, guideline, starting point, jumping off point, is when you see a piece full of 16th notes, 8th notes, and quarter notes, you might be asking, okay, I don't want to play everything legato because it kind of sounds tired. A little monotonous, maybe a little bit bland. One thing that I would say in a piece like this, with these particular types of notes, I might just staccato gently on the 8th notes. It adds a really nice element of variety. Okay, it just keeps it buoyant on these ones and lets these lines really wind around nicely with dynamics. So let's try right hand, maybe a little bit faster this time. And let's try that buoyant feel on those 8th notes. Okay, left hand. Now you might be asking yourself, how short should I go? It's totally up to you. If you like a sharper feel, that's sharp. If you like a more gentle feel, just hold on to them just a little bit longer. Generally, students aren't sharp enough on their staccatos. Just from years and years of teaching, generally staccatos get pretty lazy. So I might even err on the side of being a little bit shorter, but I think that's really nice. Let's talk about voicing and dynamics, okay? So in Bach,